Hello and welcome back to the Newshour. In this segment tonight, the burning question is, who's bigger? The voice or the man who fronts it? Now I know this sounds strange, but ladies and gentlemen, in some cases, as you see, the two are not necessarily one and the same person. And sometimes, the guy on the screen may end up stealing the show.
How was that, Mr. Bachchan?
That was very good. I must say, Arnab, that you are soon capable enough to replace me in all the future films that I shall be doing.
And you are to replace me here. Thank
I'd
you,
love
Mr.
to do
Bachchan.
that. Thank you.
Thank you,
so
Mr.
much.
Bachchan. And so, Dhanush, big film. Are you having butterflies in your stomach?
Butterflies? Stomach? No, not at all. I'm relaxed, calm, and very confident.
Are you?
I am.
पिक्चर कैसे बुला सकते हैं? It is not picture. It is mixture. Mixture.
Okay, so Mr. Bachchan, what is actually bigger? Tell me what's actually bigger, the voice or the face?
I don't know. I think this is perhaps a novel experience for me. Experimental, a novel idea by Balki. Every time he throws these new ideas in front of me. But I think if the two don't combine, you don't get a final result. And that's really what the emphasis during the entire scripting and the plotting of the film was. That one has a voice, one doesn't have a voice. But how wonderful if they could come together. Because if they come together, then they achieve success.
Yeah, but Balki, where did this thought come from? I've heard that you were driving somewhere. And
yeah, it is true. I was going on a cab to his house on his 69th birthday without a gift, and was too embarrassed to buy flowers. So the only thing I could think, which came free, was an idea. So I said, okay, let me just think of something. Then suddenly discovered that, there's a voice which is the iconic voice of India and it's not been exploited. So quickly thought of an idea and went there, whispered in his ear, this is the idea, this is a gift, happy birthday.
How long did it take you to say that?
30 seconds.
So say it to him as you said it then. Take the 30 seconds and say it to him as you say it then. How did you sell it to Amitabh Bachchan, the whole idea?
I'm taking your voice and putting it in somebody else's face, and there's going to be an ego clash between the face and the voice. We'll find some script and all stuff and put it together. You like the idea? Don't like the idea? Because he responds to ideas 30 miles away. So that's as much as and he turned around, there were a lot of people talking, saying, when do we start? And he went back.
So you were in a good mood when it happened, or just
No. I know whenever Balki is going to come with an idea, he's going to think of something really crazy. I keep, accusing him. What have you been drinking, smoking? How do you think about all these things? But really, it was something very novel and very unique. I think first time in Hindi cinema to have a plot like this.
Yeah. And Dhanush, when were you approached?
Just about 4 or 5 months before we went on floors, probably July.
So what were you most scared about when you heard about the idea?
Idea.
I mean, I'd be scared. You were scared?
About the idea.
What were you scared about the idea?
It's very challenging. I didn't know how I would be able to pull off, a majestic voice like Amit Ji's on my tiny frame. I was very worried about that.
No, what? You were underconfident?
Not underconfident. I was confident I would eventually pull it off. I have to be confident to pull it off. But I was worried how. It's really tough. That to a voice that the whole nation knows by heart. So
this whole film is like a tribute to your voice, isn't it? It's actually a tribute to your voice. I mean, it's a tribute to your iconic, to his iconic baritone, isn't it? He won't answer it, so let me get the answer from you.
Let me explain at least, because you've asked this question. It's very self-conscious to be sitting here and hearing people talk like this. But really, if you see the film, and when you see the film, you will find that in the story of the film, it is a tribute to the voice. In the story. Because it is my voice that is given to somebody else.
Yeah.
And he attains success because of that voice. So it's a tribute to the voice. The entire story is structured around that. And it just so happens that it is mine.
It's like what Abhijit is saying is right. See, it's not, it's actually the conflict between the voice and the picture. But if somebody desires to have a voice, whose voice can he desire? Except for his voice. So that's why it's a tribute to his voice, much as he may not like it. It is a tribute to his voice. But the thing is, fundamentally, it's not so much a blind ode to his voice. Yeah. It's the use of the voice with a fantastic picture
Yeah.
to combine.
Yeah.
So it's just not the voice alone, finally. It's the picture too that combines.
So there's human conflict, there's ego, there's a tussle, I presume.
It's a conflict between
Is there a
picture and
tussle in the film?
Absolutely.
Huge.
Yeah?
Because
What's the tussle?
because once he attains success, that's what starts dividing the two. I think that he's there because of my voice. He thinks he's there because of his own acting talent. And that's the point of conflict and the ego that comes in.
Yeah, that's, is it true? I don't know. Is it true that there was a time when you were rejected by All India Radio?
Yes, it is.
Is it actually true? Is it one of those made-up stories?
No, it is.
It is true.
So
Your voice was not considered good enough?
I don't blame them. I was just out of college, out of university in Delhi, and looking for a job. Somebody said that, why don't you try for a job at All India Radio? You could be an announcer or a commentator. So I went for those auditions. I tried for both English and Hindi, and it was rejected. But it's not a big deal.
No. Tell me more about it. Rejected. No, tell me more. This is the story, Mr. Bachchan. This is the story. This is the news point. Amitabh Bachchan's voice was rejected. Please tell me about it. Everyone wants to do it. It's going to inspire people.
No, but that's it. That's the end of the story.
No,
and I'm just trying to say that
what did you do? You went in. I don't give up. You said. I have a bad habit.
Someday we shall do an imitation of you in a film.
I'm very happy.
No, but really, there were some terrific voices at that point in time. I don't know whether you will recall Melvin de Mello, Surajit Sen. They were all fantastic voices. Commentators, anchors, newsreaders. They used to comment on Republic Day parades and events of the government. I was no comparison to them.
You're being humble. Can you do a couple of your famous dialogues for me?
Yeah, sure.
Will you do some?
Yes, why not?
If I'm not asking for too much.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Mr. Bachchan, I have 20 of your dialogues.
Oh,
I love all of them. I love all of them. Which one should I choose? Can you please, for our audience today, because they identify your voice, they love your voice. People are going to come to the movie halls to hear your voice in Shamitabh. So for my audience today, can I pick and choose?
So long as you pick the right ones. I can remember that.
Well, I have a few from... I love Namak Halal, your 1980.
Oh, that's impossible, because that was impromptu, and I don't remember what I said.
You don't remember what you said. Okay. What about Shahenshah?
Yeah, that's okay.
It's easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where do I say it to?
You say it to me. Well, this is not. I'm sorry, but this is quite humiliating. You don't feel inspired enough?
I feel, but the content of the words are a little, Okay, you asked for it.
So look at me and say that.
रिश्ते में तो हम तुम्हारे बाप लगते हैं, नाम है शहंशाह.
Good one. ज़रूर आप हमारे बाप लगते हैं. That's a good one. That's a very good one. I'm going to pick up a couple more. Which one would you choose? I give you one choice.
Anyone.
One choice of mine, one choice of yours. I love Diwar, In my room out there, the picture of yours from 1975, Diwar. Anything you remember from there? You can look at the camera.
It's a very long dialogue, but I'll just say a couple of lines.
Please. I'll be honored.
आज खुश तो बहुत होगे तुम, जो आज तक तुम्हारे मंदिर की सीढ़ियां नहीं चढ़ा, जिसने आज तक कभी तुम्हारे सामने सर नहीं झुकाया, जिसने आज तक कभी तुम्हारे सामने हाथ नहीं फैलाए, वो आज तुम्हारे सामने हाथ फैलाए खड़ा है. बहुत खुश होगे तुम, बहुत खुश होगे कि मैं हार गया.
Oh, fantastic. Great. It's difficult to do an interview when you are a greatest fan of the person. I'm already on your side.
I'm
Mr.
obliged,
Bachchan.
Arnab. Thank you.
I'm rarely on the side of people who I interview. I can say that.
Not to be, actually.
Why would I?
Why would you not want to be on the side of the people you interview?
It makes you prejudiced towards the person you're interviewing.
It's a nice thing.
Not if the other side is a politician. Balki. But Balki, I must say this to you, that, I am, and I'm not in this flattering mode in case you misunderstand it, but I've seen your films evolve. I've seen Chini come so many times you'd be embarrassed.
Thank you.
And then after that, Pa. And now this. What is your real job now? Is it advertising or is it full-time films?
I don't know. I have no idea. It's just the same thing. I just feel that you can switch between one and the other because it's all about, it's an ideas business. One takes a much longer time, one takes a shorter time. That's about right.
But is there a trust? I mean, I see that between you and Mr. Bachchan, I feel that, here's a person who wants to challenge and here's a person who wants to be provoked. Am I right?
Yeah, he always wants to be. I think
is he easy to deal with on the sets? Give me an honest reply.
Yeah, if you write a funny line for him, he's very, very easy to deal with. If you write an angry line for him, you're dead.
Why?
Because he gets angry even before the line is spoken. So it's going to take some time.
So this film must have been quite difficult.
Yeah.
What do you say?
So that's why you.
This is, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Balki completely talk about the bad experiences with Mr. Bachchan on the Newshour for the first time. Open up, Balki. I like these situations. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's like.
If you want to counter him, Mr. Bachchan, you can. I like these situations.
We've countered each other enough. We fought quite a bit. But it's fun. It's great fun because I think as long as you have a element of understanding, as long as you have an element of trust, like he could be in a mood trying to get into the scene. So, and the whole film he's playing quite an angry man right through the film. So the person who will endure it most will be me, actually, because you're building up your mood and your thing. He's not a method actor, but just for that, just that zone, he just builds it up and delivers it first to me before to the camera. So therefore, it was an experience. So therefore, I told him last time that I would write only funny lines for him and not anything else. So next time he would be rolling in the mud before he takes a shot.
Arnab, it's really a process.
Tell me the
Many
process.
actors have different kinds of approaches. But I feel that, from the night before that we have been told that this is what we're going to be doing the following morning, you start losing sleep. Your dinner is wasted. You're awake the whole night. You're mugging up your lines. You're wondering what you're going to do. And then from the moment you're brushing your teeth in the morning till you're driving to the location, the whole process is playing in your mind. And just about while your makeup is being done and your beard is being put on and your hair is being shoved onto your head, and it's irritating because it's all glue and sticky. But you say, this is the character. And while the makeup is going on, you have the sheet and you're learning your lines and going on. And even while you're looking at the mirror to see if your beard is okay, the lines are rolling. And then, just when you're about to get onto the set, somebody will come and say, "Sir, have you had breakfast?" I mean, it's... I don't know about you, Dhanush, but at that time you just want to say, "Get lost." I mean, here am I trying to know if I've had breakfast. Yes, I've had breakfast. That's what you say. So Balki thinks that, I'm getting tough with him, but,
So in this film...
It's been fun.
So in this film, I mean, I haven't seen the film. I can't wait to see it, I can tell you this. But you play this old, frustrated man, right? He plays is it true? Old, frustrated man. He's also someone who gets drunk very often.
Yeah.
And he's angry with life.
Yeah.
So every morning, you were dealing with a Mr. Bachchan who was being an old, frustrated man.
No, he wasn't
short of not getting drunk and very angry with life.
No, he was not being an old, frustrated man. He was an angry man.
Yeah.
Okay, so and all I would ask him is, why? What has happened? I mean, has somebody bitten somebody? What's wrong? So he would just look at me with great philosophy, with that eyes which are deep and meaningful, and say, "I'm in character." What do? You just have to shut up and go. So I've heard that right through the film. He's fired me and said, "I'm in character."
Wow.
Okay, so it's just good fun.
This is great. I mean, it's just how I've seen so many of your films. I presume you've been in character for a long time. Which was the toughest one to get into? Which was the toughest one to get into?
I think this is an exaggeration of what Balki said about me being in character and all that. I don't look upon it like that. You live with it from the moment you've heard the script. You've designed yourself as to how you want to approach it. You've discussed it with him beforehand, what you're going to be doing. You may have had readings before going on to the set. But once you're on the set, yes, you want the environment and everyone to be conducive to what you're doing. So if I'm looking into this camera here and I have to say my lines, obviously I don't want somebody at the back saying, "Hello there, how are you?" Or somebody, wanting, "Can I have your autograph?" So, it's a little distracting. So we want to, move them aside, and you move them aside, and then later on you meet them and say, "Sir, I think you're a very arrogant actor because, all I wanted was an autograph." But how do you explain to them that, I'm in the middle of a death scene or something serious and emotive? I'm not worried about an autograph. I'm just worried about that scene.
So this whole, some people would think maybe Amitabh Bachchan for him is just effortless now. It just become effortless and easy. He just goes along with it. It must be like he wakes up and he can... But it doesn't happen.
I would imagine that's true for everyone. I don't know. What do you think, Dhanush? I would think that that's true for everyone. For every actor, yeah.
You shared the space with him in this film quite often. What do you make of it?
But fortunately, I don't play a very angry man. So I was a little calmer, but I could completely understand. And relate with what sir was just saying.
But Dhanush, tell me, Amitabh Bachchan, of course, is a legend. You share space with him. As he came into our studios, you say, of course you're a legend. Aren't you a legend?
No.
Why? Okay, let me ask you this. Then the question which I always wanted to ask you, Mr. Bachchan, look at me and answer this question, because I want to know why you always underplay yourself,
Because
undermine yourself.
I'm not.
Why are you
Arnab
so
Goswami.
utterly immodest? Because you're not.
Arnab Goswami.
That's a very rude thing. That's a very rude thing to say.
No, that's a compliment to you, Arnab. Come on.
No, please. No, Mr. Bachchan, why are you so modest all the time?
It's because I genuinely believe that there hasn't been any achievement. I mean, there's always, room for improvement. There's a lot more to do, and you keep trying every day. These are just wonderful words that, people like
he's
us
just trying to be different. Somebody's got to be different, so it's him. Since everybody else is saying the same thing, he says, I'll do something different.
But what I like about hearing of this whole thing is that I really feel that he works himself up to deliver a fine performance.
That he does.
That's actually, and I think and I'm not saying, when someone like you comes across and says that I really have to put myself in the mood, focus and concentrate to deliver that.
It's really nice that you asked this, Arnab, because, many interviews, and with all due respect, nobody talks about the craft or that moment, what went into that moment. Everyone wants to know, did you have any pranks on the set? Or can you tell us some incident that happened? Or what were you eating? Or,
Chemistry.
But rather, what is the chemistry between the artists?
Yeah.
Do you feel in awe of this man?
Yeah.
These are youngsters working with you. How did you make them comfortable?
Yeah.
Why should I be making them comfortable? I mean, we're all characters in the film.
Exactly. And I presume, it also works for you, Dhanush, that when you're in a film with Amitabh Bachchan, at the end of the day, you're an actor and he's an actor. You have to deliver as fine a performance as he has. And that's what he wants from both of you, right? So can you afford to be in awe of Amitabh Bachchan when you're on the set?
No.
As a professional, tell me. When the cameras are switched on, can you afford to be?
I cannot.
You can't, right?
I cannot.
So what's in your mind? Tell me.
At that point of time, I just think about giving my best to that particular shot.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Yes. There were some scenes where I had to drag Amitji by his collar.
Yeah?
And hit him. Yeah, it's fine, yeah.
I had to do. When I read the scene, I knew it's going to be tough. It's Amitji. But then I cannot walk out of my vanity thinking it's Amitji. It's the character, and I have to. But Amitji is also very kind and generous. He'll come and tell you, see, don't be soft. Just do it hard. Pull me hard.
Yeah.
He'll tell you. So that's the kind of actor he is. So
I think in the betterment of the scene, you have to be as real as possible according to the character.
Yeah.
You can't think that, oh gosh, this guy is my father or this guy is my brother or sister, and therefore I need to be a little gentle with him. No, I think you have to play that character.
What gives you your biggest kick now, Mr. Bachchan? What's your biggest kick? What gives you a high now at this stage of your career?
A challenge every day. I've already started telling him, when are we starting the next one? And wait for that challenge to come across.
He's actually an idea magnet. He can smell a concept a mile away, and he's just always tripping in his head. Much as he's kind of, he'll say the right thing and everything, but he's a tripper. So if you have a new idea, he can smell it miles away. So that's I think that's what keeps him motivated tremendously too.
Yeah.
The search for a new idea.
What do you mean tripper?
Like you'll think you've got a fantastic thought and everything. He'll just put a little spin to it somewhere else. So it evolves, when you're talking. But he's tripping on the idea. He's actually seeing it. He's a great communicator. He's linear and lateral at the same time. And you can be lateral, but when you want to communicate that laterality, you'll have to kind of say this one, step 2, step 3, step 4. You take those four steps so that you can be lateral. Okay, so you have to understand the laterality really well for you to be so linear and take that forward. That's a deep understanding. And he is a great, only great communicators can do that. And he is that. Because an actor is a great communicator. An actor is, processing a lot of things in his head to communicate a particular emotion quite simply.
Yeah, this is very interesting because I'm also, Mr. Bachchan, may I confess also, I'm a bit tired of seeing the usual interviews that are done before a film. Can you tell me the favorite prank? Did you get along with this person? And etc. etc. All these films of yours, now you must have been through many intense experiences before them. Somebody asked you, how do you play a drunk so often and how differently can you do it every time? are you afraid, even at this stage of your career, of being stereotyped?
Yeah.
Is being stereotyped one of your greatest personal fears as an actor, only as a professional?
Yeah, absolutely.
Only as a professional. Tell me about it.
See, at some point in time, there will be a period where you will get stale, and the audience will tell you that by not wanting to see you over and over again. So I think you need to keep doing things differently, or at least making whatever you're doing look as though it's unique and perhaps not seen before. We do, because of the construct of our film industry, we keep doing so many films at the same time, and we often get to do that same moment and situation as often as possible.
Again, yeah.
So whether it's a drunk scene, I mean, you've given the example of a drunk scene, but I would like to take it a little further and make it a little more intense and say, I've been dead in about 7 or 8 films. Yeah. How do you die? Yeah. You can die running, you can die standing, you can die lying down, you can die sitting down. You're running out of ideas. Where do I close my eyes? Should I close my eyes? Should I keep them open? Should I open my mouth? Should I just drop? Should I be motion? I mean, these are some of the things. Yeah. And these are some of the more, death of a mother or a father in a scene. And I've often said this many times before. When we are doing it, we will try and give it as much as we can. And sometimes, I don't know about the others, but sometimes we like to draw from within and feel that this is actually happening, and therefore the right emotion comes out. But we've done it 7 or 8 times. And I don't know that when my mother passed away, the emotion that I expressed at that point in time, was it something that I had already spent? Or was it something that was not tapped ever before? These are some of the things that all actors will go through. Yeah. You've been through an emotion and you don't know.
You also sometimes say, no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this.
I would rather discuss that before going on the floors.
Before going on.
Yeah. On the floor, I will have a very polite conversation.
What offends you?
Language, certain acts, certain, things like that.
Yeah. And do you spot talent? Do you spot real good talent coming up now?
I don't know. You mean today?
Today?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Every one of them.
You are the product of certain unique circumstances. Amitabh Bachchan does not happen every day. There was a time, there was a moment, and the audience has just opened up to you.
Well, I'm just
and they've
very
loved
grateful
you for
that, yeah. But
40
if
years
you
now.
watch the talent today, they are exceptional.
How do you rate Dhanush?
Unbelievably good.
What do you like about him?
His simplicity. Yet when he comes in front of the camera, he's a different person altogether. Yeah. There are things that he does with his face, or he doesn't do at all. He has very powerful expression of his eyes.
Yeah.
And I think that is the most important aspect of any actor. If you can express with your eyes, or if you can speak with your eyes, that's
Balki,
terrific.
Dhanush?
See, I think I've seen Dhanush in a lot of films. In this film, it's even more difficult for him because you're dealing with the greatest voice, okay? And everybody knows how to. When you listen to Amitabh Bachchan's voice, you start behaving like Bachchan, okay? You start acting like him. Even the dialogues that you were talking about, I'm sure that was the image of yourself that was running in your head.
I'm sorry, I wouldn't dare to do that.
Dhanush's biggest challenge was to be himself and deliver the deliver dialogues in his voice. That's a damn tough challenge. To not sacrifice your emotions, be the actor that you are, okay? But without your voice, with somebody else's voice, whose voice is very clear, in terms of certain acting. Most people will act and expect to act in a certain way with that voice. He didn't.
Yeah.
That is really challenging.
The construct of this story, Balki, will tell you that Balki and me recorded the entire film in my voice, in a dubbing studio. Recorded the entire script. We first recorded the entire script. I didn't know what...
How do you emote in a dubbing studio?
That's it. That's the tough part. And I didn't know how Dhanush is going to perform on those lines.
Were you there when he was dubbing?
No, he wasn't. So I recorded the entire thing. Then we went on set and we played back this recording and performed to it. Then we came back into the studio to redub the performance, because in the performance, his facial expressions, his other movements are going to be different.
It's a damn tough film to make.
No, that's the thing. Like he acted with his voice. He had to dub just with his voice without a visual. So he's imagining his performance. He's trying not to listen to his voice, just the mood of the words without imitating his.
So what? His Amitabh's voice was playing in a fold back, like an audio.
Yeah.
And you shot this over how many days? Did it get to you? Because he has 3 roles in the film: the voice, the face, and then the man and the voice. Does that also happen?
Yeah.
The man and the voice also happens, but you have 4 because you're actually living the 4th on the set. So you were hearing Mr. Bachchan's voice all the time, right? So how were you doing it? Did it feel weird?
In the beginning, I was really excited to hear his voice, and I kept listening to his voice. As days progressed, it was really tough in the beginning, very tough to perform for another voice, and my timing and my modulation, the pauses where I would like to take, and all is completely different. But this was again completely different. So I had to get out of my comfort zone and then make something else into my comfort zone. It was really tough in the beginning. Later, I started dreaming about his voice. Yeah, because I used to hear it so many times, and from 9 to 6, from morning to evening, I hear his voice throughout the day. And when I sleep, I hear his voice. And I actually woke up once. I thought I was hearing his voice. His voice was constantly in my head for the period of 8 months. It was tough, but I really enjoyed doing something different, a different challenge, something else to do. It's not just, by heart your lines, go and do
It's
it.
never been done before.
Balki, this has never been done. It's a tough movie to make, from what I can make.
Yeah, it should look simple on screen. The beauty of it is, all the complications, of course, should be there, but it should look effortless on screen. So the biggest, I think, the thing that I'm happiest about this film, beyond everything else, is the fact that you will accept that that is Dhanush's voice in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll never even doubt it. So it's comfortable on him and on him, a voice. I think that's the quality of the performances of these two people who've just pulled it off.
If I close my eyes, and that's my last question to Mr. Bachchan, if I close my eyes and I say, who is the one actor, in Indian cinema, you can just play his whole career over many years and decades, you can play simply as dialogues. And even if you don't see the dialogues, you feel the dialogues in the same way. I would say one would be Dilip Kumar and the other would be you.
That's the one that I was going to say.
No, I would say one would be Dilip Kumar, one would be you.
No,
because
not so much.
no. I don't,
Dilip, if you're asking me that question,
if I'm asking you, okay, I'm asking you. I'm
how
asking
can I say
you
about my own voice? I mean,
sure. No,
it has to be
of
Dilip
course.
Saab. Yes, Dilip Saab.
Yeah.
Any day. I've always admired him. I still do, and he'll always be an iconic figure for me.
Yeah, absolutely. The intensity which he's brought into cinema.
Absolutely.
And Dilip Saab, and for me, Dilip Saab, of course, and then you, because Mr. Bachchan, for my generation and for the generation before me and for the generation before that, I can't think of someone else who, from the 60s right down to now, your voice has become part of people's
Just
lives.
been very fortunate.
I think it's amazing. Would you like to say something to our fans watching Newshour right now? Not just for this film, Well,
I just want to say that, I've been in the industry for 45 years and you've tolerated me for so long. You've given me your love and affection. You've prayed for me when I've been ill. You've joined me in my successes that I've had. Thank you so much for it. And I hope that I can continue to be challenged by people like Balki and continue to give my best to you so that you may continue to enjoy what I do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bachchan.
Thank you.
Balki, thank you very much, Mr. Bachchan. It's such an honor to meet you every time. And Dhanush, thank you. All the best. You're the emerging star. Thank you very much.
This is Times Now, Super Prime Time. And the Newshour will be right back after the break.